Well, you all know. Hey guys, what's going on? Memes here. And today is a very special day. Does anybody know why that is? Fizz. Do you know what today is?
Yeah, you just told me backstream we're gonna have some pie.
Oh, I know I should be wary. Still I venture someplace scary. Ghostly haunting, I turn loose.
It's showtime!
So, not that this would be awkward or anything, but uh, Fizz, it's Pie Day. It,
Yeah,
you know what that means, right?
yeah. What kind of pie? Is it like a chocolate or the classic apple? It sounds like it doesn't matter what flavor.
So I can't lie to you. It's actually a total bait and switch, kind of like the whole lollipop paths. You remember where the lollipop paths led?
Wait, wait. Does this have math in it again?
It does.
So why? But like you put pies all over the thing.
It's well, I mean, because that's a very common interpretation. Because when they say pi, they're talking about pi. The e isn't there yet, even though it is the base of natural logarithms. Oh my God! I just thought of an entertaining name for a mathematical paper. Um, but yes, I asked ChatGPT 4.0. Yes, yes, it's I get along well. I know my co-host is not a fan, but I'm like, could you create a an image in landscape mode celebrating Pi Day? And it interpreted it like many folks on the internet would. Pi Day. What is at the center? Oh, oh, look at all that pie.
That is a
Look at
lot
all
of
of.
pie.
Oh my God. Yeah, they had all that pie, but they still have the symbol up here. And I think this is just a whole bunch of gibberish because aside from doing the occasional symbol for the pie, those two kind of like weird lines and a little swoosh on the top there. Um, yeah, it's actually the math thing because full disclosure, today, at least according to the thingy on my computer, says it's March 14th. So if we were to write that in the number notation, you could view it as 3.14, which is the first three significant digits of pi. Ah, ah, ah. You, you, you don't seem amused, Fizz. What's wrong? Tell me what's on your mind.
Uh, I don't think we can eat that.
Well, maybe Nerdy agrees. Maybe we need to stop breaking the multiverse. As well as Lugs. Yes, yes, welcome, Lug. It is Pi Day. It is Pi Day. I totally may or may not have communicated the what this meant before the actual show. But dude, that's awesome. That's awesome. Good for you. I when I do the Saitama workouts, I only do it like 100 and stuff like that. So it's like I break it up into different sets. But good job. No, just keep going on. Just balance yourself out. Make sure you get enough like food and sleep. I am not a doctor nor dietitian. Listen to your doctor. I actually had a conversation with what was it? Snacks the other day. Actually, no. It was actually Coach Murphy, the big red macho man minotaur. He's got like
Mm.
a 12 pack and stuff like that. He's a good looking monster. I hear he's quite beefy. That's another discussion. But how old is Pi? See, that's a very interesting question. Because I was it Neil deGrasse Tyson was tweeting out something. I have no idea if it's true. I just read it on Twitter. He's like, "Oh, back in some scripture, it's like pi was three." I'm like, well, to be fair, if you were to have like a wheel type thing or something that's kind of circular, you take like some rope or some string, and you wrap it around. Especially if you had like its diameter or its radius or something, you're gonna see it seems to be about three, well, about 3.1 something. So what is it? I think they knew like three or five digits like early in like the BC era and stuff like that. And I think there was an Arabic scholar that he calculated out to something crazy like 9 or 16 digits in like 900 AD. It's like, how the heck did you do that? And then, like, once you
Why?
get to Newton went up to like 30 something because he was just drawing more and more, like, because you can like put a square in there and do a calculation and just create like then put like a hexagon and just keep on increasing the number of sides of whatever the heck you're drawing and then get bigger and bigger. And then once you get up to like 96 gons and stuff, it's like, yeah, people start to quit. And now we have things like Wolfram Alpha that do it for us. I'm good on my aside. Fyzz, you have thoughts.
Why we gotta call it pie? That's so misleading.
That that is a fair question, Fyzz. Um, there is a strong argument that we should actually call it Tau, because like that whole like 2 pi r thing that maybe Piper learned like a bajillion years ago or something in school. Um, Basically, it's they do 2 pi, which is tau, because if you have 2 pi, that usually represents a circle. Pi may be viewed as half a circle, so you kind of need two to kind of complete the sequence there.
Mm.
But no, there is because if we call it tau, then people wouldn't be like, delicious tau until later for other reasons, I'm sure. But as far as just pie goes, it's like you hear pie, I think of that, but I'm also in the superposition of, oh God, I could go for some cherry pie right now. Mm. Oh, or peach pie. Dude, they have this peach pie that occasionally comes in like an apple pie package because they mislabeled it. But it's totally one of the greatest peach pies ever. And I didn't think I would be a big peach pie type of guy, but Fyzz, I know you have thoughts on pie.
I do have thoughts of pie, but when you started saying peach pie, it reminded me of what you did to the F-It show last night. I heard it. I was in that room.
Oh, I have no idea what you're talking about.
You managed to break that whole show.
Hey, listen. Just because I happen to bring up a topic about, we'll leave it at this. To quote what I quoted as Butthead last night, Piper's a butt muncher.
But my...
End quote. I To be fair, I did not know how badly that affected Rosetta because she was there for that. As soon as somebody mentioned slightly about the posteriors and stuff and things potentially happening, I'm like, oh God, I've been doing YouTube long enough that I actually have a video on that. I actually had another video that I was considering playing, but it would have too much.
Oh, that was actually the first time I ever heard that Rosetta had a problem. It seemed
Oh, I
random.
didn't know because she was there. I did a video and I tagged her in the video from like 2 or 3 years ago. So this is what happens if you've been around long enough and you realize the internet is forever. It's like I feel like this is why I'm never going to be like president or anything like that because it's like, all right, you put the fuel out there. It's like people spend all this time searching for things that make people look silly. It's like, no. That's originally or post immediacy after originating the channel. That's basically what the channel became. Just like taking clips from live streams that I was on that created very awkward moments because it entertains me. And I'm a man child. These things happen. But now, were you entering the crow domain? Like if you're just kind of walking by and there's like 50 crows on a tree, Jax, I mean, I think that's a standard thing. But if all of a sudden, like, there's usually maybe one crow around and in your natural environment, all of a sudden you've got these 40, 50 crows around and you're moving and they're following you, I might be concerned, yeah. Then again, I am not an aviator or ornithologicalist, something like that.
Wow.
The bird thing. Oh God, yes, yeah. I'm just saying, if memes influence people, Sometimes Occam's. Yes, I totally pretended I was Cornholio when I was younger. Yes. Why? Because I could wear a mask. Because it wasn't me doing stuff. It was the great Cornholio.
Straight
God,
from
I
above.
feel racist just even trying to do that. I apologize. It's I haven't seen The Crow. It really wasn't my jam. I know some folks have some strong feelings about The Crow, this or that. Some folks are seeming pretty excited. Some folks, it's if you're gonna try to redo something, especially if it was good, you're kind of flipping a coin there. Especially if you wait a long time. That was the thing. It's like I loved the movie 300. I thought that was such a fantastic film. It was something different. It was new. And all I know is I wanted the dang sequel. Give us the dang sequel. And they gave us a sequel like a decade or so later. And by that time, it's like, what was this? Something about ships and not interesting.
Right, the hype was over. Like
Yeah.
they needed to
It's
really
like
ride on that.
the whole Avatar thing. It's like, to be fair, if you're doing a James Cameron movie and you're going to be spending that many millions of dollars, you can kind of draw hype. I personally feel they probably should have done it within 3 years of the original movie. Because
Mm.
3 years, it's like, okay, people would like to see more. This is one of the most successful, probably the most successful movie on the planet from at that point. So it's like, okay, let's get this moving forward. All right, a few months, start filming. All right, give it about a year or so. And if you need a little extra time, it's fine. But you're doing a good job. Whereas some other folks are like, yeah, let's just set this up for a couple of seasons and let's just do this. And it, my thing is, whatever you do, do it awesomely. I feel like the lack of awesomeness and let's go say coherent planning at times is why it's like I'm just saying that if you're planning on doing a 3 movie series, but you're only like, yeah, let's do one movie, and you don't tell the director or the people making it, yeah, we're going to be doing more of these movies, and then you change the director, and then you change the director back, and you're going, I'm like, what could go
Yeah.
wrong?
Oh yeah.
It's I sit back and people have all these ideas and people like to go now these are bad people. Now are they bad people or did they maybe just not do a great job? My it's and again even with all of that I feel like a lot of it just came with it because people are like all right we all make mistakes how we handle them is what defines us. But if people say things and again don't get me wrong people use mean words and stuff like that they hurt my fifis but if you start to get into a fight online with folks, and especially about things, it's like, I did not like the character you played. And then you take that as a personal attack. Maybe it is a personal attack. It's not like anybody's ever attacked something, the idea of a portrayal or something, and then immediately are just using other things that the person said, not in character, and attributing all those things in conjecture. I'm just saying occasionally nobody's ever confused Portland and Seattle as hipster cities in the great Northwest.
Um.
That was a category thing after a massive spiel. People do a lot of silly things on the internet for all different reasons. Because we all think a little bit differently. Hey, HH, what's going on? The new Dante for the Ooh, okay, that actually sounds interesting.
Oh
I
no,
know.
like they decided that Joker from Suicide Squad went over so well that they were gonna put it. They were gonna turn the Crow into that too. So
Oh, did they
the
use
see
what's his name?
they didn't use the same actor, but they basically turned the Crow into the same like what character,
Oh,
and
I
they
think.
shoehorned a instead of it being like these guys are bad guys because they're bad, it's they're racist. And that's I got all of that without turning the sound on for the trailer. They didn't do the makeup. Like,
It,
nah, I'm not. They could have named this anything else, right? Because it's not the original Crow story. Right? Clearly, it's not the. Yeah, I guess they used the same names maybe and stuff, but
see,
uh,
this is. Go on.
oh, but so like it could have been like all those failed Crow sequels. The Crow, birds and shit. You know, like the crow, colon, something else. Like, and probably would have gotten accepted a lot better. Yeah, nothing is ever going to come close to sniffing the butthole of the first Crow movie. Um, and they're trying again. They're trying so hard again, but it's not happening.
So full disclosure, I don't really know anything about The Crow except a lot of my goth friends seem to be fans of it. I didn't know that there was butt sniffing in the original.
No, that's a metaphor.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
The Crow filling
I
in.
have to check
Yeah.
sometimes, just because nobody would ever misunderstand each other on the internet.
Jack's got a point. The kids don't know who he is. Yeah, so they might like this one. In fact, if this one is the first one that they see, they'd probably be pretty confused watching the original because they'd be like, what is all this like cool, not shoehorned in politics crap? What is this?
It's the reference point for whatever mimetic observer is consuming whatever media. Like whoever's watching stuff at a time, this is something that I think I kind of noticed from like the greater Power Rangers community is that like since I am very ancient, I remember the OG Mighty Morphin Power Rangers and stuff, and just that song that's of a giant robot's dinosaur, this, that, the other thing. I'm like, oh my god! You could see, and it was like a kaiju, like an old school Godzilla movie where it's like, yeah, there's people in suits and they're battling and they're using the same landscapes again and again, but it had a flair to it. It was fun. It was uplifting, and you could actually usually, I don't know, do the whole Aesop's fables, and it's like maybe there was an underlying message about, I don't know, working together. It's like confronting different things. Everybody has problems. I remember that, and Power Rangers is on like, oh god, I'm not sure if they're ending it yet, but it's like the 30th something season. I think last year was like the 30th anniversary. They brought back Lord Zed. It was not the same actor, but I feel he did a pretty good job. Um, it's one of those things where a lot of folks, like, you see, it's like, who's your favorite Ranger and stuff like that. It's like, well, depending on how old someone was, if you came in at like Power Rangers, like Dino Thunder more recently, or like Cosmic Fury, or it's like, I just remember after the OG Morphin, they went Thunder, and shortly after that, I think I hit puberty or something like that. I don't know.
I didn't watch
depending
anything
on where you
after
come,
Morphin. Yeah, after
yeah,
the first.
yeah. It was.
I mean,
I think I was like the
he
first
says
two.
they're saying it's not a remake; it's a new off the comic. Me and Piper, we've read the comic, and it is just as far removed from the comic as the first movie was, as all the other movies are.
Yeah, no, Jax brings up a very good point because I feel like people lose sight of this. Some folks are like, all right, you're doing a continuation. It's like, okay, maybe we're doing a reboot. Reboot infers you're basically more or less doing the same thing, but using the TLC of modern technology to help make it better. A la kind of like what I've heard from Final Fantasy VII Remake. It's like, it's more or less the same game, but there are changes and stuff. They did a lot, and people really seem to like it. Now, the question is, how often do we see that when something is being remade, um, they spend all the TLC trying to get it right, and yeah, if you come up short, it's okay. You make mistakes, you try to do better. But if you're doing a remake, so to speak, I'm confusing my own terminology now. But basically, if you're redoing it, like you're taking that concept and you're portraying it in a new way, just be honest about that. Like I know J. Michael Straczynski, they've been talking about potentially rebooting Babylon 5. And it's basically, they're going to continue the same general story, but they're going to take more of a modern take because, well, now you actually have a budget. Maybe you have something more than like, I don't know, like a hot tub warehouse to do your filming and stuff. And you have modern technology. Because one of the gripes with B5 is, B5 was a competitor to the Star Trek. It didn't have the name and recognition. It also didn't have the budget, so a lot of their different ship sequences, they were a bit more generic. But but as a story, it is literally one of the greatest space stories because it continues on. It has Star Trek like themes and stuff. But again, I haven't watched enough Star Trek, but it's kind of like Deep Space Nine. I enjoy Deep Space Nine, but I felt like there was more like the conflict, and you have this and that, and I think they did a really good job. But if you were to reboot it, oh God, I'm still confusing my terminology. This is
Hmm.
hard. No wonder people are confused. Fizz, thoughts?
I feel like a remake is you take the thing and you're doing the same thing again, but with your budget and your actors, and stuff like that. But you're telling the same story
It's essentially
again.
the same universe, but just
It's
portrayed
the
a bit
same
different.
thing again. A
Hmm.
reboot is we're taking this thing and we're changing it for modern whatever, but it's going to have a lot of the same elements because it is a reboot. So remake sticks to what it's remaking, just different actors, different effects, whatever. Reboot is actually shining up the thing, polishing it up, trying to make it better, but it is the thing. Sequel is all over the place. Holy shit. But this here, again, if it's coming from the same source material, it is just as removed. It's not any closer to the comic. It's actually farther from what I can see. It is farther from the comic than the first one or the original Crow movie. Um, and so that's why I'm like, you know what? Just name it something else. Give it a subtitle. Something. The Crow something. And here's why. Because you know how many different times like the character Batman's been taken on. Well, this is our Batman. He's got nipples on his suit. Well, this is our Batman. He's fat. Like, but they're not. All those movies are not called The Batman. That way, when you're talking about it, like, oh yeah, I liked the Batman. Oh, which one? The one with this guy, the one with this guy. No, it's I liked the Batman. I liked the Dark
Should
Knight
have.
Rises. I liked, uh, you know, it either Batman, not the Batman. You can differentiate the movies that you are talking about, and that is one way that people know which bat suit you're talking about. So if you just go, oh yeah, the Crow is pretty good. Now people got to go. All right, which one? The one with Nipple Eye Crow, or the good one?
Well, folks, you heard it here first, and now you know.
Where did you come from? Where did you go? Where did you come from? Nipple Eye Joe. Agreed, it's Batman. No, I'm talking about the movies though. Like they have something in there that differentiates basically who did the movie. There's the Batman, and then there's Batman, and then there's yeah, they have different names,
Well,
so
but then you have
.
like the Dark Knight, Batman Begins, this, that. I mean,
Yeah,
you're basically saying Batman in all of them. I feel
yeah,
like
you're saying
some of it
Batman, but you can
is.
differentiate a lot better than saying, well, two movies named The Crow. You kind of expect that they're trying to be the same movie at that point. Um,
I would say that if you're doing a different take, you should be very upfront about that, and
mm,
perhaps you should have a subtitle because if you're literally having the same name, people just kind of think that's a remake. So kind of like you're saying, they're expecting the same thing. Where if it
yeah.
was like Crow Anthologies or something like that, God, that might still be just a different title, but at least you're differentiating. This is not the
Or good,
same
just
thing because
call
we're
it
calling it.
Crow. The Crow, yes, is the comic. But like, yeah, like the Crow's shitty sequels that nobody cares about because they were shitty still had their subtitles. Like they didn't even do The Crow 2. It was like The Crow, City of Angels, and that
Oh,
other
they've
one.
already been through this before.
Yeah. They shitty sequels were made, but
So
they at
kind
least put
kind of like
names
He
behind it.
Man,
Yeah.
yeah, kind of like the He Man. That's like, yeah, they tried rebooting in like I think like '97, like 2005, and I think even like 2011, and then Kevin Smith did his, and it seemed okay. I watched like the first season or whatever it was, and I'm like, all right,
I think that one didn't
but
get
I
renewed
had some
like
fun.
nobody wanted.
Well, the thing is, people were growing losing their minds about, oh my God, He Man, He Man, He Man, and people watch through it and they're like, there wasn't enough He-Man. I didn't like the way it went. It's like, okay, you cannot like that. And
Well,
then
yeah,
the
well,
second
wait,
season
if you're
came out,
gonna
and
look, bro, if you're
people
gonna
stopped talking
title,
about it, and I didn't hear people complain anymore.
if you're gonna title your thing He-Man and then kill off that character in the beginning, like he's dead, he's not in the show. Yeah, that's kind of fucked up. That's kind of false
But I mean
advertising.
that no, but that wasn't what happened. It's like the first part, spoilers, yes, yes. But if you actually go through in the amount of time you have He-Man, there is plenty of He-Man. Now they do it in a slightly different
Was it like all
way, but you are
flashbacks?
yes.
See,
Yeah,
that's
yeah, no,
not
no, it
the
was flashback,
same.
but it was fun. It was corny He-Man and stuff like that, and they did progress with the story. I haven't finished the second half, so I can't fully. But I'm just like, I think a lot of that hate was a bit unwarranted. Could you complain and could you say this wasn't the direction I like? That's totally fair. That's totally fair. It ain't really your jam. It don't have to be your jam. It's okay, and if folks aren't watching, it's not popular. It's probably not going to continue. I mean, that's just life, right?
At least for the She-Ra one, they named it like She-Ra and the Princesses of Power. Like they did something to go, hey, this is a different
Oh,
show.
oh, the madness that people got at
Oh
that. I'm
man.
like, oh no, how dare
Well, I
they
mean, they
make a
were all
chibi
drawn.
hero for girls?
They were all
I'm
drawn
like,
Steven Universe style. It was kind of
yeah,
ugly as hell.
but it's like, okay, now I don't know this. I'm pretty sure that show was the intended audience was probably girls like I don't know, like teenager and under. I'm just saying that if
I like
I
that
was
they
to
think
watch the
that like
show as a
the
nearly 40
'80s.
year old dude and rage about how much I hate this, it's like
Oh well, that's kind of weird.
I
Yeah,
mean, like I could rage on the Barbie series and stuff like that. I don't think it was necessarily directed towards me. If you want to get mad about it, you can totally do that.
but
Because
I do like that that y'all human thought that yeah, little 5-year-old girls, they could totally handle a She-Ra that looked like a lady, and characters that looks like ladies, and then the one that's meant for like not 5-year older than 5-year-old girls. That one's like, no, we can't. We can't possibly depict a female character that's shaped like a female. That's too much for these teenagers.
well, his I can understand why people are trying to do things because it's like at least for me personally, I'm just saying some folks they can't take the attitude. It's like, oh, look at all these people on the internet. They just want their curvaceous gals so they can think inappropriate thoughts about. And then I hear other folks and they're like, no, we believe in this freedom and we enjoy the feminine form. We support all these things. I'm just saying I may or may not have gotten the Game Pro back in the day with Shiva from one of the Mortal Kombat games, and I had impure thoughts.
I mean,
I,
I'm
I,
not.
I'm just saying, it's when you have a Goro gal that's yes, I'm going straight to hell. Yes, yes, Fizz. Okay, so I already bait and switched you for Pie Day. You think there's going to be all
Yeah.
this delicious pie and everything, and then all of a sudden, Memes is using you as I don't know, a therapist? A, am I treating you like a priest? Or should I be like, Father, I must confess my sins here? It's like, are we actually in a rectory? Oh, God, I'm actually in a monastery. I don't think we have an official rectory, though. Wait, what's a rectory?
I, I don't want to tell you what it made me think it was for a second there. It can't be. That
But
can't be right.
you couldn't be. Oh, no, not, no, Fizz. We're not on Pornhub. Not
Okay.
yet. Well, I am, but that's a different story. Um, Rectory. A rector's house. What the?
What?
No, It's
That's
that's
worse.
what it tells me. Okay, I typed it into Google's
Rector.
rectory. Yes, rectory. A rector's house.
What?
A Church of England benefits held by a rector. It, that seems like a very unuseful definition. I also don't trust searching Google with these
Rector.
terms on live YouTube. Uh, hold on.
Erections and rectums. Yeah, all up in there.
This is it's what a residence of a rector or a parish priest. Okay, so it's essentially it's where like the priest lives or something.
Oh, so
If
you
that
go to
makes
their
sense.
houses to tell them about your sins. No wonder there's so many.
Oh, but wait huh? I mean that doesn't see. Hold on.
Sit
Is
down on my bed,
I
get comfy, tell me all about them sins, kid.
let's like hold on. Let me drink some of the blood of yeah. Would you like some? Oh God, no! Stop! No! Already going straight to hell. Don't need to upgrade the ticket anymore. I'm going there on the bullet train, and it's probably gonna be one of those Chinese ones where it goes really fast. Um,
Ooh, because
yes.
they don't bother even putting proper brakes on it.
Yeah. Well, it's actually, now that I think about it, if one was to try to create a bullet train going straight down into the ooey gooey, totally tasty part of the Earth's core, you're accelerating, but there's a point where all the gravitational stuff around you allegedly it's concentrated at a point, and
Ooh.
that's an interesting thing because gravity works on the most central point. But as you're going down, there's less stuff that's together, and now you've got gravity that's above you too. I just remember a couple of science communicators. They were doing the thing. It's like hypothetically, if you had a perfect hole, you could fall all the way through the earth. What would happen? And it's like, well, you would go yeah, like Goofy, all the way down through the center, basically come right about up to the edge of the other side, and you would continue to oscillate, falling up and down through the center of the earth. I think you eventually lose energy to friction and stuff like that, and I think you eventually just come to balance the center of the earth. I might just be making that all up, but
That's a good
that's
question. I think some of that would have to depend on the speed of your fall. Like, how much freaking
oh, were you already
force?
accelerating, or are you just going at the standard 9.8 meters squared per second, which will eventually trail off after it? It's a weird calc. I haven't done it.
Yeah.
I'm still kind of.
You would have to, I think you would have to calculate that, like the rate of the fall versus the Earth's tilt and spinning and stuff, depending on where this hole is that you're falling down. Because it's your speed against the gravitational, like, and the
Yeah, the spinny
gravitational
force
pull is
too.
the speed. Yeah, it's a spinny force versus a folly force, basically. Oh my gosh, would you start spinning in there? Like, that'd be weird.
Oh,
That would suck.
now,
You're
oh,
already falling, and your guts are already coming out of your
oh, that would be
ears.
the ultimate Turkish twister. Oh my
Oh
God.
man.
You'd also be going, oh, that hole will get messy real quick.
Yep. Just old school science. Let's see how many people we throw down here until we get the answer. Just keep throwing people and things and animals up in this hole,
I,
down this hole. Somebody on the
Fizz,
other side of the planet to keep a look.
Fizz, I did not expect you to promote human and animal sacrifice.
I mean, I'd really rather you not do the animals. I'd rather you just go straight to the people,
Okay,
personally.
well, I mean, you're justifying it by science.
Yeah. Yeah.
A
Because if
lot
a
of
person
terrible things have
manages
been
to come out
justified
of
by
it alive,
science.
too, if a person manages to come out of it alive, you're going to get more information from that person than you are from an animal throwing it down there. Because the person will be able to tell you what the hell happened in there.
So to be fair, couldn't we just like send a camera and or measuring device? Like, wouldn't that be easier, more accurate, and more humane?
Yeah, just throw some robots down there. It's fine.
Oh, Wow.
Make them human weight distribution and everything, human size, whatever you have to do so that you can also calculate the damage that the body is taking. That'll give you an idea of what happened down in there too. And then camera. How many days would it take to fall all the way, like just get to the middle?
Hold on. Let's ask Wolfram Alpha. Let's see.
I feel like the closer you get to the center, the faster you'd be able to go, though. So
it take to fall through the earth. Okay, what? Soil? What? Falling object. Okay, it's time to what? 11. It does not seem right.
Terminal velocity.
It's giving me a different answer because occasionally some of those things it has it. But
maybe you might have to be more specific. Like, how long would it take a human
to no, continue.
Fall to the center of the earth? Yeah, like make it a little more specific, maybe.
All right. So I just do this, boom. So, all right. Meters per second squared. So 9.8 meters per second squared is the standard acceleration gravity on Earth. Okay. So how many seconds? Let's try.
That looks like it's a free fall to the Earth instead of through it.
Oh, that's not the answer I'm looking for.
Something about a sesame seed. What the hell?
Ooh, this 9.8 meters per second squared. Okay, so I think we equals what's the diameter of the Earth? Like 6,000 kilometers equals.
I have no idea.
1,000 km. Let's see if that works. That's probably not going to work out because there's no unit of time over there. Oh, unless it's solving for time. It did not. Oh, yes. That M is a variable. Okay, it's probably a few minutes. I don't know. I don't want to waste people's time trying to do the calculation live. I've done that before. Hey, Snacks. Thank you for joining. I had a little chat with Coach Murphy a little bit earlier on Snacks and Friends. It's was an interesting chat. We chatted about stuff and things, and he was actually pretty good at keeping me from my tangents. Yes, Fyzz.
What?
Oh, I thought you were saying something.
No, I said that's always good. Yeah.
I was speaking high. Hold on. I looked into these freaking dang AirPods, and I'm like, has anyone's AirPods gotten a lot quieter since you got them? Because they were already not as loud as some other brands, and it's like, I just kind of get up one day, it's like, this is significantly lower. It's like, I used to have things like about half volume. Now it's like, I feel like if I go outside, I need to turn it up and have both of them in to hear any dang thing. It's like, it seems to be an issue. I'm like, okay. I'm sure Apple will totally cover it. It's not like they're charging more and giving us less. That would be wrong for a company that cares about its customers. Yes, I failed at that. Oh no, has Jax? Oh god, Jax has evolved.
Oh snap!
He's become a smiley guy.
Oh no!
Or I don't know. Is it a pseudo Jack? Who knows? It's nobody would ever pretend on the internet. So, oh god, as I'm dropping everything. But we talk. Oh yes, pie. Pie is very delicious. Fyzz, tell us. Please share your thoughts on pie.
I like the creamy pies, like the chocolate ones, the best. It's got the whipped creams on top. It's like part of the thing, though, so it's all like moussey and it's really good. Especially if you ditch the traditional pie crust, that's kind of actually flavorless a bit, and substitute for graham cracker or chocolate cookie crust. That's like the fucking best. And also, remember, cheesecake is a pie, so we have a whole bunch of cheesecakes in the pie family.
That is categorically correct, because as we remember from not so long ago, there we have covered this because it is within the deep lore of this channel, and you are still figuring yourself out. Then
This broadcast is helped made possible by viewers like you. So what say you, Pipes?
I ate too much pie today.
Way too much pie.
Yeah, I found out that there is such thing as too much pie.
It's a difficult thing to do, but I've also experienced the thing known as too much pie. And I ain't just talking about 3.14159, etc., etc. Wait a second, what type of pie?
That's the weird part. So it's a cream cheese pie, which tasted suspiciously like identical to cheesecake.
Are
But
you
says
sure
it's
you
a
just
pie.
didn't? Are you sure you just didn't eat too much cheesecake?
The box said it was pie.
This brings up a very interesting question. Is cheesecake pie?
I think so. I think cheesecake is already pie.
How does one... Actually, no. This is very important. And the reason I say this is because cake, as we know it, typically has some little infusion of air, a little bit of air pockets during the baking process, whereas pie is more of a gelatinous, more of a consistency of a much thicker, often sweeter nature.
Mm-hmm. And it has crust, and so does cheesecake, which is why cheesecake is actually pie. And that's why this pie is very confusing.
No, you are tautologically correct, I believe. Because according to like topologists and stuff, like a cup and a donut are technically the same thing. Because of the hole. They make a big thing about holes. Apparently, this is very important within the universe of stuff and things. We do live in a holy multiverse, in my opinion. But, along with these things and too much pie, how goes the battle and stuff in general? You're feeling a little... Oh my God!
We are consistent
All right.
with our errors and mistakes over time. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, I remember that because I thought it was funny because the box for it was actually labeled cream cheese pie, and I was like, okay, but this is cheesecake.
It's like I was saying earlier. It's like we occasionally would get an apple pie before, and it's like this is not apple pie, but it is the most delicious peach pie I have ever had. So it was a happy mistake.
Mm.
I mean, these
I will
things
give it
happen.
this:
Yes.
the texture, the consistency of the cream cheese pie was a little bit creamier than your typical cheesecake that has a little bit more of a structure. So I think that's why it was labeled a cream cheese pie. But I was like, yeah, okay, but it's cheesecake. Like, it tastes like cheesecake.
No, Fizz, you have no idea that point. I feel like we could actually start a campaign if enough people care enough about candy corn and care enough to complain about candy corn. I feel like this would be a much more stimulating argument because, like, full disclosure, this has actually been a discussion of topic at the monastery because it's like you hear this thing, it's like cheesecake. It's like you hear that, you're like, that sounds wrong. That sounds disgusting. No offense to those of us that like cheese pudding, but
But you would still expect it to be like a cake that tastes like, I don't know, cheddar.
Yeah, that sounds kind of weird.
Cheddar Bay biscuits, but cake.
Yeah, yes,
like...
but in actuality, it's a delicious, creamy pie with this stuff, and it's got a little bit of like some hint of where it came from. It's kind of like calling it cheese is kind of like saying, well, whipped cream is cheese. I mean, and not even in the whiz form, but I'm just like, okay, well, are they saying it's? Do they call it cheesecake to? Do adults call it cheesecake so that kids will not eat it? And basically, have people trying to hoard the cheesecake for themselves by calling it cake and mislabeling it cheese?
That reminds me that carrot cake is a thing. Ugh.
It's actually better than it sounds, in my opinion. I can only
I
have like
don't
a
like
little
cake
bit, and then I'm like,
specifically.
meh.
But well, no, it's cheese. It's made of cream. Like its primary
Yes.
ingredient is cream cheese. So it is a cheesecake. Cream cheese is just it's a step away from whipped cream. Well, whipped cream ends up you put sugar in that and it's sweet. You put sugar and cream cheese, and it's just thicker whipped cream, kind of. Like it's all dairy.
Now, are they just replacing butter with like cream cheese? Is that kind of like the substitute or switcheroo? Or
I don't know because I've never actually like made cheesecake from scratch, so I don't even know. I just know it's thick and tasty.
Yummy. All right, let's find out about cheesecake. Ah, yes, good thing to know. Sally's baking addiction. That sounds great. Cheesecake Faye. Okay. How do we make cheesecake, Sally?
It just
Look no
says
further for creamy, ultra smooth classic cheesecake recipe paired with a buttery graham cracker crust. No one can deny its simple decadence. For best results, bake in a warm bath. What?
a water bath. I have no idea.
I bake in a water bath. I listen. I am not a professional chef. I just know that I don't know. I don't think you're supposed to be baking while bathing. Just
Yeah, I also feel like if there's water involved, that would be boiling and not baking.
oh god, that does look really good.
Right?
Not a plain cheesecake. Oh, this is not your standard cheesecake.
Oh, I love
As
the
much
name
as
of this cake.
uh, as much as I love cheesecake, I've never published a classic cheesecake recipe. There's been peanut butter cheesecake, blueberry swirl cheesecake, Snickers cheesecake, pumpkin swirl cheesecake, lemon cheesecake, caramel turtle cheesecake. I'm sorry, my mouth is watering.
Amaretto.
Or amaretto cheesecake, plus more cheesecake in my published cookbooks. That's a lot of cheesecake recipes without a single nod to where it all originates. Classic cheesecake. To me, a classic cheesecake is creamy, rich, and smooth. My cheesecake recipe is not as dense as New York cheesecake, but it's just as special. It's thick, it's velvety. There's no denying its decadence.
They
And I
just read
imagine
this
what
article
Chandler
in
Rachel's
sexy
stolen
voice.
cheesecake tastes like. It's this. Should I just start doing food ASMR? I'm actually
Just
kind of
reading.
enjoying this.
just
Yeah, I'm just reading
reading.
recipes. Oh God, I did like a 20-second clip of how to churn butter, and then I felt like it's probably more appropriate for Pornhub. But
Right.
well, there's a glaring absence of chunks, swirls, and sprinkles in this ivory crown jewel. There's nothing plain about it. Oh, it does look. Why? Why are you doing this to us? Preparing my cheesecake recipe is rather simple. It's baking the cheesecake that could result in a flop.
Yeah.
Many factors are at play, like the springform pan leaking, the surface of the cheesecake cracking under baking, over baking, etc. I have plenty of tricks that will help guarantee classic cheesecake perfection, including determining when the cheesecake is done and everything you need to know about cheesecake water bath. I have never heard of many of these terms.
Yeah.
don't.
I wonder what it's like to take a cheesecake water bath. Is you bathe in cheesecake water or
I do you bathe in the cheese? Oh my god! Is this like how they like classically made wine? You just kind of like stomp on it with your feet, and you keep on going like an I Love Lucy, and try not to fall in and turn purple. Do you actually have to bathe in the cheesecake? Is this recipe? Wait, didn't some gamer do this before? She was like selling her cheesecake water or something.
oh god, cheesecake water.
Oh no! Did we just create a new thing? The cheesecake
Yeah.
bath?
It's gonna
Oh,
be a
no.
fizzy thing. Cheesecake bath water.
Oh my god! You can get 1 ounce of batter for the low price of $49.99.
For extra,
no.
I'll fart in the container too.
Don't. It's not for this show. It's not for
You
this
might-
show. That sounds.
You might even get bonus sprinkles. Who knows? I don't
I'll
like
tell
saying that
Piper.
with the drooly face going. Oh God.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fitting. It's fitting. Is it because of the cheesecake or bathing in batter?
Oh, it's definitely because of the cheesecake.
I mean,
Not because of any of the other things I said.
No, it's yeah. I mean, it's like just reading that, I'm like, oh my God, this is food porn.
Yeah, dang.
Just reading.
Just reading it and using your imagination, especially if you don't know what some of this shit is actually, which I don't. Giggity.
Oh, that's a great idea. It's separating. It's so like snacks. I know is like actual like is a professional like chef and stuff. Like he does food for a living. The water bath is a separate pan filled with water, so the cake doesn't blister in the oven. Oh, so basically you're putting a pan in a pan, so it almost becomes like it's like a pressure cooker, kind of like a steam table or something
I
like
don't
that.
know.
'Cause, like,
I know
feel
that's
like
how you. That's a way to melt like baking chocolate. Is to put the chocolate in a pan and then or a pot or
oh,
something, and then put that pot in a pot of water, hot water, boiling water, something like that.
so kind of like that.
Apparently,
I
it's just
I mean
weird
that
to
makes sense
imagine,
because
especially if all they write is water bath. Then I'm like, all right, water baths are usually the form of bathing, preferred form of bathing, I believe.
but how do I get my oven to my bathtub?
Right?
Like it's like
I'm
oh
baking a
God,
bath.
I feel like this is out of God. I think you can make a lot of baking memes with this. It's like all of a sudden it's like how do you do that? The next thing over, it's like why is the bathtub in the kitchen? I'm following the recipe. Kind of like a Dilbert cartoon or a Calvin and Hobbes. It's like I did what it said. That was
Right?
God. That still reminds me of what was it? One of my friends, very smart young gals. My friend's younger sister. At one point, she creates some beef stew, and it was her grandmother's recipe, been handed down. And as she was pairing it, it's like finally finishes. She's so proud of herself. Spent all this money on it. Starts serving the stew. Everyone like takes a spoonful, puts their spoons back down, and doesn't eat anymore. I took a spoonful. As soon as I hit my mouth went. It was so salty, it like immediately dehydrated my entire mouth. And I'm like,
Oh no.
I love a good beef stew. So I had like 2 more spoons of it, and even I couldn't do it. And we're just like, Kate, we don't know how to say this, but your stew sucks. Like literally the moisture out of me. And she's like, but I followed the recipe. Now, we quickly deciphered where the error came. At one point in the recipe, it says we use 1 pound of cubed beef. Now, that was meant as cubes of beef themselves. She took it as those cubes of beef bouillon.
Oh, that's what I was thinking as soon as you said that.
In.
Yeah.
And as we were like explaining this, she's like, it seemed
God.
like a little much, so she only used half. She only used a half pound of beef bouillon cubes, which is enough to, I don't know, flavor like, 50 pots of beef stew. The sodium levels are off the charts. It was, oh God, I still remind her of that till this day. And she still is unhappy about it.
Oh no.
I'm a terrible person. But that's one of those little things. It's like you tried, and I'll give you acknowledgement for trying, but I can still poke at you with that at any time. Not all the time, just occasionally. Yes, she raised the bouillon to the 3rd power. It went up. Yeah,
this is why it is always appropriate to taste your own cooking while you're cooking it, so that you can see where you fucked up, when you fucked up, and stop there without wasting more ingredients.
If you're gonna F up incrementally.
Hmm.
Unless it's your whole thing and you're going for broke. I ain't the boss of you. I'm just not saying it's not necessarily a good idea. But I can't say no. Because it doesn't matter. Maybe I would say no. I don't know. But, and how do you know what the plural of beef? Oh no, not this. Wait, is singular B? Because beef is, huh. You could
Me-
have beef as like a burger. You could have beef as a cow. You could have beef as Coach Murphy. You could have a beef for someone. You
Interesting that
made
cow
beef
meat.
and potentially sell it to somebody on OnlyFans, or I don't think they allow it.
The meat from cow is beef. Is its own thing, and it's its own plural. But chicken is stuck with just being chicken. Like, it's chicken. Chicken meat is chicken. So the plural of chicken meat is chicken, but the plural of chicken, the animal, is chickens.
Wait, wait, say that again?
I said the plural of, but unlike that, the plural of chicken, the animal, is chickens with an S, but the plural of chicken when you're just talking about the meat is still just chicken.
Huh. So you could have a chicken or chickens, but when you're talking about consuming, then it's just chicken.
Yeah.
Might be one, it might be as high as you can go as far as chicken goes.
A lot of that is because you typically don't know how many chickens it took to make the chicken dish that you're talking about. But yeah, typically you just don't sit there and go, "Oh yeah, dude, I've got a crap ton of chickens for us tonight." Unless everybody's eating like an individual chicken that's still like shaped like a chicken.
Huh. It's
Otherwise, it's
funny
more
how
like
our
I got a crap ton
terminology.
of drumsticks.
Yeah, well, our terminology changes. And Fractal's commenting that the plural beef is beefs. Like, I have some beefs with you. I.
It is still beef. There's no S even if you have lots of it with somebody.
Now,
If you have beef with multiple people, you usually pluralize the people instead of the beef. Like, I've got beef
I
with all you dudes instead of I've got
yes,
beefs.
yes. The giggling rodent is the ranch I had heard of
It's
500
already
beefs.
500 beefs.
Oh, it's, I mean, yes, cluck. Yes, I am wearing a yellow shirt. That is true. But I, I just think about some of these things. Maybe, I don't know, maybe we should do like grammatically correct or something like that. Have that as like an episode just going over like, yeah, here's a whole bunch of things that don't make sense, but we just seem to accept them. Why? Because repetition renders the ridiculous reasonable.
Yeah,
Learned that from Professor Norman Wildberger because he was
that
teaching
makes
us how
sense.
to. He was teaching maths, but maths in the more of the way of the logic. It's like, all right, literally like lesson one. Here's a mark on a piece of paper. One, two, and he just builds up from math because I think apparently what was it? He was a math professor, and then I think was it his daughter came home with some math homework, and he's looking at the math homework. He's like, I think he got pissed at how math was being taught, so he decided to start like an online, just like math from scratch. Like he started in like 2009. I think currently in the series we need to start up again. We're like in the year 2015, 2016. So we still have 6 years of like math to still catch up with. But he explains it and he's basically saying like, listen, you can have whatever math convention you want if you're a professional mathematician. You can do what you want. He's like, I'm coming at it from a computational approach. He's like, all right, could I program this on a computer? Could I put a calculation in and would it work rather than saying dot, it goes on forever? Basically, if you're giving an answer that may be larger than potentially what we colloquially refer to as universe, basically, at least as far as we know, If your answer requires more computational power than the universe, is it really an answer? Are you trying to fit something bigger than the big thing? I don't know. I don't like using the term universe. I prefer a realm of persistence because I'm biased, but personally, I think there's like a finite volume. I think it's
Yeah.
ginormous, but anything else beyond that, I'm like, there'll be dragons. I don't know, but it's basically infinity. I see it more
Yeah.
of yeah. Personally, I'm like, okay, if it's infinite in something, maybe time. That's probably the easiest thing. Just
Yeah.
like continuing on and on, my friends. Da, da, da,
Oh
da, da,
no.
da, da. Chicky. I believe
No.
that was one of the characters in was it Sylvester Stallone's new thing where he was I don't know, he ships out to Oklahoma or something like that. He's a former mob. That was a really good series, actually. I was a fan of that. So not a huge Sylvester Stallone fan, but in that show he did a good job. So I just whoa no and then oh my god concept space I'm gonna say. Because at that point, nerdy, if you're saying that, so yes, it's the difference between the animal and the meat. I think it's the concept. It's like concept, fuzzy friend, concept, tasty snack.
Hmm?
They may come from the Fizz. Fizz, I know. I see that look on your face. Now,
Tasty snack.
how? Oh, it's please don't eat the wildlife or any of the Piper's friends. Um,
Oh.
can you stick to the cheese pudding?
I mean, I guess.
They're friends, not food. We should. Gosh, it's. I know it's wrong, but I'm like, it's murder. It's tasty, tasty murder.
Right? Mm-mm.
See, that's why I'm like, all right, if Pito actually wants folks to like stop eating like as much meat and stuff around me, like you're bad or this cringy thing, it's like, no, no, no. You film a place like a fancy place that actually serves like one of those giant like full pig. Because when I was a kid, they actually served one of those at like the fancy place, like the country club my dad was a part of and stuff. One day they literally had the full pig there. I'm like, oh, I mean, I kind of like pork, but this is like disgusting here. And apparently, a whole bunch of folks complained, and they're like, yeah, they never did that again. Just because it hit, because you look at it and I'm like, I've seen a pig before. Oh yeah, that pig was literally just murdered. Because at least if you're at a pig roast, the thing is buried in the ground, or at least, and you're doing
Ugh.
like some traditional thing. I mean, yes, it's. But when you see that full thing, that's very impactful. Some folks will go yum. I tend to think a lot of folks, especially if it's in video format and not just like, oh yeah, I've seen a pig with an apple in its mouth. It's like you're seeing it, you're like, yeah, this pig was alive not all that long ago. Now it's not anymore. I feel like that would be more impactful. I don't know. Do whatever you want, but uh, I just yes, yes. Keep hands away from Fizz's teeth.
Yeah.
Got those
Why?
chompers. Look at those fangs. Rawr.
Right.
It's yeah. Oh, I I don't unless your car is from Toontown Lug. If your car is making that face when it's hungry, you may want to bring it to a mechanic. I, I'm just saying that's I don't know. Again, I'm not a mechanic nor a doctor. I just know if my car started to smile at me, I might bring it in or check to see if I've recently consumed psychedelics. Just me. I don't know. Again, not a doctor, but okay, we've been going on longer than we normally do, and
Oh.
after me being late and everything, and there's hopefully none of the tornadoes come back. I know you don't like the loud sounds and everything. I know it's scary,
Mm-mm. Yeah.
but do you have anything coming up, or are you kind of going to lay low? until storm
So
pass.
depending on the weather, I might still do my stream tonight. I'm gonna keep an eye on the weather, see if it's gonna pass in time, then I might start stream late. But first, I have to fix my entire OBS setup because I hit one button that resized everything to ginormous, and I tried to undo, and undo didn't work on it. So I have to go and put everything back.
No, I have been lazy. I used to do OBS, and then I'm like, I can do all these things, but when something like that happened, and it's like, I don't want to have to go through all that again.
Yeah, it's worth that for like the VTubing streams. But for like, I feel like for like Piper's streams, I understand why she just uses like StreamYards, because like she don't need nothing fancy. The show is called F It.
Yeah, that's accurate.
So I guess just keep an eye on my X account, and I'll let people know if I'm gonna go or if I'm gonna go try to go late. Because right now, right when we're done here, I'm gonna go back to trying and fix the thing. And if I fix it, here's something cool though. If I fix it, there's a good chance I will have captions.
A what?
I will finally have captions on my stream once I fix everything, and they will be translated. What I've noticed though, right, is so they're set up to go, I speak English, it picks that up and puts it in Japanese. Downside is it's using Google Translate, so the translations aren't all that awesome all the time, but also it can't understand what I'm saying half the time. So that's fun. But on top of that, it's something though. And on top of that, I noticed if I decide to randomly speak Japanese, which I, do on the streams plenty, it really gets confused. Oh, crap. Just got a weather warning, tornado warning. Wait, not even a watch? We're past tornado watch. There's a tornado warning. It says to...
Okay, so...
yeah, I'm supposed to take cover,
pay
supposedly.
attention to Fyzz's stuff and things on the internet, links in the doobly-doo in there, and...
If you don't hear from me at all on there, then the tornado might have got me, because apparently there's one around here somewhere. I don't hear it.
Hey, be careful of your monster girls.
I'm broken. You broke me. Oh no. Oh dear. You guys? You guys! I just want to hug some gold!
Peace out, everybody.